Right, it's time for us to talk to Rahiel. It is Sunday night. It is about 55 minutes before kickoff between England and Italy and England. Before I go any further, Rahiel, what do you think? What's your prediction for the Euro final tonight?
Whoa, it's gonna be a good game to watch. I'm hoping that Italy beat England. I don't particularly like England. I think that they're a side with too many stars and wannabe players, But I mean, it's gonna be a good game to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. Certainly, hometown advantage is going to be massive for England. But well, I've got a few rand on Italy from earlier on in the tournament. So I was born in England, so I should be supporting England. But at the end of the day, never mind the heart. You've got to go with the mind and the head and the pocket. So we'll hopefully do that. I've got the screen to share because we're talking about Greyville tomorrow. And we start out with the first race on the program. Interesting here, some money for Namakwa Dove from 6-1 into 7-2. Let me get a check at the bottom there. The reserve runners, obviously we're doing it quite early, so the reserve runners aren't out yet. So when you watch this on Monday morning, folks, just factor that in. But Namakwa Dove from 6-1 to 7-2. What did you think in the first?
I thought the first race, it could be between the 4 and the 5 year. Starting off with the 4, Princess Sabrina was unlucky last time out. She looked a winner around 100 meters out, and then Heaven Sent just caught her on the line, winning by 0.2 lengths. But I think Princess Sabrina, she should go close. She's run 2 good efforts on the poly track over the 1200. She now drops in trip to 1000, and I think that it could suit her a lot better. Drawn in gate 4, Jason Gates still a border, so I think that she should be right there. And then the 2-year-old filly in the race, Sea of Tranquility, she gets the blinkers. Tabiso Gomeda claims 1.5, so she only carries 55.5. And if you have a look at her last run, One Night in Paris, ran second behind Supreme Quest in the sales race on Vodacom Durban July Day. And then earlier today at Scottsville, Green Grow the Lilacs came out to win. So that form line has worked out well. And I think that she should be right there at the finish, and she could possibly be the one to beat. That she receives 4.5 kgs from the 3-year-old Princess Sabrina, so she could well be the one to beat in this race here. And then I thought maybe a nice value play for trifectas and quartets could be the 2-horse King's Tune here. Last time out, she ran on really strongly. There's been 2 winners and 3 places from that form line. And if you have a look at her last 3 runs, she's been drawn absolutely in the push. 11, 11, and 12. Now drawn in gate 2. She could be running on strongly at the end if she doesn't give away too much start. And she has run a 3rd and a 4th over the course and distance, so I think that she could be a factor in this race here. But I'm going for the 4 and the 5 here to fight it out.
Okay, 4 and 5 for Rahiel. Actually, you and I don't see it too differently because my first choice in the race is number 5, Sea of Tranquility. And my value play is number 2, Kinski's Tune. So you and I are very similar there, 5 and 2, 2 and 5 we like. Just not that I like them, but just to make a note that there is money for the 2 first-timers. Soccershop.bets, number 9, Venturous, from 25-1 into 16-1. And then money also for the number 6, Vision of Will, who I actually did, because Sean Veal was riding it, I actually wrote here, watch the betting. So that has come in from 14-8-1. The only other horse I want to mention, no, I think that's fine. So you and I, similar there, will be playing around with 5 Sea of Tranquility and the 2 Kinski's Tune, although as you heard, the 4 horses is also fancied from Rahiel. Let's move on to the second race then, Rahiel. And here, money for the 11 and the 12. They both opened up 4-1 now into 7-2. Fists of Fire and Guy Fawkes. And a little bit of money for Tenacious Time. What did you like here?
It's a tricky race, I'd say. Quite a few of the fancy runners are drawn a bit wide, with the exception of the 4-horse Mama's Boy and perhaps still meet you could include. But I'm going to go for the 11-horse Fist of Fire to maybe share his maiden tag tomorrow. He's drawn out in gate 11, which I don't think is a concern as such, as if you look at his poly runs, he's been drawn 10 and 11, and he's run 2 creditable races I mean, he was drawn 10, 11 on the grass, sorry. His poly run where he was drawn 10, he ran third behind Flying Peter, and he was finishing quite well on that occasion. He was the fastest finisher. Well, I think with the 11 draw, first run after rest, back on the poly, I think that he could give a good show in here, and he could possibly shed his maiden tag at the 16 time of asking. You can give respect to the 12 horse Guy Fox, drawn out in gate 12. So, but he has run on. If you have a look at his penultimate start behind Radamir's, he did run on that occasion. So I think Ashton Aries would possibly drop him out and then allow him to run on. And then maybe even the 8 horse has a chance in this race here. Another one that has a runs after a break. He does show good pace, and if he gets things his own ways, and if he's fit and well, he could lead from start to finish here. If you have a look at his runs on the poly, where he finished third behind Water Rider, he showed good pace, and then he tired late on. And even the second behind Rocket Ramba, he was just caught late on that occasion. So I think that if he is fit and well, he should run a good race here.
Okay, yeah, I'm just looking at. I don't like this race at all. It's the first leg of the PA. I think you've got to go a few here. I mean, the very fact that it was 4-1 the field is an indication of how open it is. Some long shot support for a couple there. Number 5 Over the Bay and number 10 Lord Minver. What would you do in the PA? Would you take your chances with the 11, or would you go a bit wider?
I'd probably go 11, 8. Could possibly throw in the 12 horse Guy Fox and maybe even the 6 horse Pilmeet, who's he's always there and thereabouts. I mean, you can't be confident on him. I mean, he's a 22-time maiden, so what you see is what you get with him. So I mean, if you like him going down to start, you could possibly include him. But I think the 11 and the 8 could be the principal runners here.
Yeah, I like the 8. Keegan DeMello riding very well. You were asking me earlier on, did I punt today? And I knew I won on something. I couldn't remember what it was, but it's just come to me now. It was that Meet of the George, which Keegan DeMello rode for Kenema. And he is riding very well. He gave it another peach of a ride. So, yeah, maybe you can get away with 8 and 11, but I don't like the race. I think the PA, that should be fine, but finding a winner there might be tough. Now, on to race 3. I'm going to banker this in the PA, number 2, Diamond Girl. I don't know whether she'll win, but I think she's sure to run a place in this company. That's my play in the PA. What did you think of race 3, Rahiel?
Look, this is it's not the strongest of fields, and I think if Diamond Girl doesn't shed a maiden tag tomorrow in this lineup, yeah, she's gonna challenge. She's gonna battle to win a race. If you look at her last run behind Indigo Moon, she was just beaten 0.7 lengths. There's been 2 winners, 2 places. If you look at her penultimate start behind Red Rosa, there's been 3 winners, 3 places. And then if you look at her run behind Green Dream, there's been 3 winners and 6 places. So she undoubtedly is a horse to beat in this race here. She comes off the strongest form lines, and I think that she should win tomorrow. I don't see any horse that could possibly beat her. She's likely race. She has a lot more improvement than most of these horses in this lineup to come. Drawn in gate 2, Greyville is back aboard her, going over the 1900. I think that you could take your chance and even banker in the pick 6 if you're looking for a banker, because the pick 6 does seem a bit tough later on in the latter leg. So you could take your chance and banker her early on. Yeah, I don't see a horse that could possibly beat her. Yeah.
Okay, that's the way I see it too. So we're in agreement there. And if she doesn't win tomorrow, I agree with Rahiel. She's going to battle to find an easier race to win. So Diamond Girl for us there. Now we move on to a race that the way they're betting looks like a boat race between the 1 and the 3. Don't Touch Me and Giants Castle. They're both now 2-1 in this race. Touch of money for the Green Gallant, the 5. But this is where it becomes quite tough, I believe. The first leg of the jackpot. What do you do here?
For me, I'm going to go for the 10 of Sonia Dove. I've been a supporter of his for quite some time now, and he hasn't quite delivered the goods. But now with Rachel Vinegar taking the 4 kgs off his back, and she actually got her first winner today in the last race, winning on Kalulo with a good ride. So I think she would have a confidence up. And the only concern is that the draw of gate 10. I mean, if she does drop him out and allow him to run on, that could possibly suit him because there's not much depth to this race here. It's a sort of weak race with only a few horses with chances here. And he does come off a race off the stronger form lines. If you have a look at his last run behind Sweet William, there's been a winner, 2 places. The run behind Morse, there's been 3 winners, 1 place. And today, after the rain, won earlier on, won a nice race down the straight at Scottsville. So that form line has been franked. And then the run behind Coromandel, there's been 5 winners and 4 places. So he does run off the stronger form lines in this race. And I think that if she gives him a good ride in this race here, he can go very close to victory. And then my second choice in this race is the 1 horse, Don't Touch Me. He has his second run for Duncan House. He's drawn in pole position. Tabiso Gumere takes a 1.5 off his back, going over the 1600. And I think that he could also run a nice race. He does show good pace. So he is likely to be the pace setter in this race here, and he could possibly go all the way if Sonia Dor doesn't pitch up. And then if you don't like those 2, you could possibly throw in the 3 horse Giants Castle, who's also there in the betting. And then the 9 horse, I think, has a bit of a shout in this race here. Death Blow showed some nice improvement last time out, finishing 5th behind Parallax. He showed pace. He led from the start, and he just faded out late on. I think if he makes a bit more improvement, we could have a say in this race here. As I mentioned, it's a race that lacks the depth here, so it won't take much winning.
Yeah, again, I agree with you, Rahiel. I think the value is number 10, Sonia Dor. I was pretty impressed with the way Rachel Veneker rode her winner today for Michael Roberts. And I made a note quickly that when I studied and restudied that I'd sort of elevate her. And this horse with the 4 kilograms, the draw is a negative, but the 4 kilograms, I think, will be definitely in the horse's favor. The only problem is that he's been expensive to follow, but maybe tomorrow is the day. So we both like a bit of number 10, Sonia Dor, as the each way value there. Let's move on to race 5. Now, this is a race where I know that Rahiel likes a bit of number 2, Water Blast. I don't know whether there's much value at 22-10, but it's certainly going to have a chance. And sure to get a mention will be number 9, Perfectly Putt, because we both fancied it last time when Caden Brewer was due to ride it, and it got scratched, much to our disappointment. But at 7-1, I think at the time it was 12-14-1 when we liked it last time, so we're not quite getting the same value. But yeah, this race, I think we both like a bit of 2 and 9. Well, you like the 2. I'm going to try and beat the 2, but you like 2 and 9, right?
Yes, definitely. I think the 2 horse Water Blast, he won a really nice race last time out under Craig Zaki. Drawn in gate 2, going over the trip that he much prefers, and I think that he's a horse to beat in this race here. Warren Kennedy is aboard. He's ridden him before where he's run 4th, very close up 4th behind Follow My Path, and he ran on late on that occasion. And I think that he should go very, very close in this race here. And then, as you mentioned, the 9 horse Perfectly Putt. He's dropped 34 points in the merit rating, drawn in gate 9, which is a bit of a worry, but he does run on at the finish. Only 50 kgs on his back, and I think that he's going to run a really good race here, and he's probably the value in this race here. If you have a look, comparing what Water Blast is at 2-1 and Perfectly Putt at 7-1, so those are the horses that we fancy. And then you could possibly even give a chance to Twice the Flight, drawn in gate 1. Blinkers go on. Seanville is aboard, and I think that if he doesn't give away starts, he could be right there at the finish. And then even the 3 horse Cherokee Chief could have a place chance in this race here.
Yeah, I think you got it covered. You've mentioned all the horses that I would want to talk about. Twice the Flight's got to be a big runner if he jumps. Blinkers are on and he's drawn 1. He's got some good form. But I keep coming back to the fact that Perfectly Putt has got 50 kilograms on his back. You know, he's had 52.5 the last couple, but now with 50, he's going to think he's loose. So Perfectly Putt, you know, this is his last chance. If he doesn't run tomorrow into the money, then I think we've had enough of him. But you've mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned Cherokee Chief as well. Garth Puller's Yard, always in good form, back from 10-1 to 7-1. That's the 5th race. Let's move on to race 6 now, which is due off at 3:10. And again, pretty open contest. They're at 7-2 the field. Number 1, Eager Duchess, is 7-2. And a reminder, of course, as Nico and I were talking about, that in a lot of these races coming up, i.e., I think it's this horse here. Let me just have a look. Yeah, the 8, KCL, is that we're going into the closing stages of the season, and there is absolutely little to choose in the owner of the year contest between Chris van Niekerk, Drakenstein stud, Mrs. Rupert, and Suzette and Barcy Viljoen. And as a result, we saw I think it was, winning the last race at Fairview, which has got Barcy and Suzette right in the mix. And I think a lot of their horses, and this goes to Drakenstein and Chris van Niekerk, are going to be seen to the fore in these next couple of meetings as we draw to the end of the season. So I'd factor that in, that I think it was actually Justin Snaith said already on Friday that because of the battle for top owner, he's running as many of the Drakenstein and Suzette and Barcy horses as possible. So this race, number 1, Eager Duchess, is the favourite. That's actually owned by Mario Ferreira. But number 4, Someone Exciting, is at 4-1, the second favourite. Touch of Money for Dancing Sword. I didn't like this race. I thought it was very open. Rahiel, what did you like?
Yeah, exactly the same. I'm in agreement with you. It's a tricky race. I'm gonna actually go for the Barcy and Suzette horse here in the 8 horse KCL. Gets the services of Keegan DeMello. The blinkers go on, back on the poly track. She when she won a maiden over the course and distance, she was rated a 74. She's now a 67, back over the course and distance. Drawn in gate 8, which I don't think is a concern, as she does run from off them, and I'm sure Keegan DeMello will slot her in and give her the best chance possible. So I think that she could go well in this race here. And then the lurker in this race here for me is the 5 horse Laurel Lane, who gets the 4 kgs off her back. So she only carries 52.5, drawn in gate 5. And if you like the 8 horse like I do, KCL, then you've got to like this filly. If you have a look at a line through Abbey Wood, she was drawn 14 or a 14 at Scottsville when she was beaten by Abbey Wood, 1.25 lengths, and then KCL just beat Abbey Wood by 0.8 lengths at level weights. And now there's this filly here is 5 kgs better off than KCL. So I think that you got to give this filly a chance on a line through Abbey Wood. And if you look at her last run, behind Aquasulis has come out as won earlier on today. So that form line has been franked. And I think with such a lightweight, she has to be given a shot in this open looking race. The 4 horse has a chance in this race. I mean, she's starting to find a comeback to her best form, drawn in gate 4. And last time out, you could say that she was a bit unlucky. She had to ease and then switch. So she could have possibly won, who knows? But she's drawn in gate 4. Tristan Godin is aboard, and she has a chance in this race here. And then the 6 horse Dancing Sword, who I also give a bit of a chance to. She hasn't missed the top 3 at the course. She's run 3 seconds and 2 thirds at the poly track. I see she's at 5-1 in the betting market, so I think that she could have a chance. She races after a break, but she has to be included. And then maybe you could possibly also include the 1 horse Eager Duchess, but she does look held at the weight this time around. It's a tricky race, though.
Yeah, I don't like the race at all. I'll tell you a story about this race. I might have told you this before. You might have known, but I backed number 12, Dark Moon Down, last time at 40-1. I backed it at 40-1. I had a nice bet on it. I had a very big place bet. It was ridden by Nokwe, who now rides your horse. Which I would like if it wasn't for him. And I've mentioned before, some appies improve quicker than others. I'm afraid he wasn't much assistance to my horse last time, and it ran 4th, beaten a whisker. I've just finished cleaning up the buckets of vomit because if it just managed to go like this, it would have run 3rd. Anyway, needless to say, it now has Warren Kennedy on. So I consider that a upgrade. The only negative is one of the reasons I backed it last time at 40-1 was that it was the Apprentice and it was drawn 2, and I thought it would get the run of the race, which it should have. But now he's drawn 12, so I'm back to not a great draw, but a senior rider. So I don't know. I'll be keeping him safe, Dark Moon Down, because I did back him on form last time. But it was a bitter pill to swallow, I can tell you. If anybody's interested in go back and have a look at the race, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But I think you've got to put in a few. I found another little bit of a roughie, because I'm going field here, pretty much field. The other runner I wanted to put in, because I thought it had tumbled down the merit ratings, was number 9, Flower Season. But I don't like the race.
She was scratched at the gates on that occasion. It was a Monday race meeting as well. And Keegan DeMello was set to ride her, I think.
Okay, she might go in. But interestingly enough, my first choice is the same as yours, KCL, the Sinette and Barcy Filyun horse. But I don't like this race at all. I think you could get a real bomb here, PA and exotics. Let's move on to race 7. Mindset is the 3-1 favorite here. Pretty firm. The horse I like is number 1, Noemi. Garth Puller's always in good form. Ashton Aries picked up a ride, of course, on the top horse today and did nothing wrong. He won nicely on it. And the fact that it's drawn 1, I think, is a big advantage here. So that's my first choice. But again, beyond the obvious here, it gets very difficult. What did you like in race 7, Rahiel?
I mean, this is a 64 fillies and mares handicap over 1,000 meters, so it's sure to be a tricky race here. I'm going to go for the 2-horse Kylie's Fate with Rachel Vinica aboard for Michael Roberts once again. I'm hoping that they can possibly have a double with Sonia Doe and Kylie's Fate. Carries 56 on the back, drawn in gate 2. And I think that this filly should run really well here. If you look at her only run over the course and distance, she ran a quarter length behind Her Royal Majesty. And I think on that effort, she comes right into this race here and has to be a serious contender. I mean, she's trading at 11-1, and I think that she offers some really nice value here. Like you mentioned, the 1-horse Naomi, I think she's only a 2-time winner from a 33 starts, and I think that she should have been at least maybe a 4-time winner. She always runs on a bit too late and just doesn't seem to get there. And now drawn in gate 1 with Ashton Aries aboard. And I think that if she jumps on terms and Ashton Aries just slots her into midfield a bit closer to the pace, I think that she could certainly get that 3rd win in this race here. And then even the 5-horse Ariano Spinner, a horse that has come down in the ratings, 20 points, was once a 79, is now a 59. If there's a good pace in this race here, she could be running on, and is one that you can include. And then even the 4-horse Rachel, she has to carry top weight here, but Warren Kennedy is aboard. Interestingly enough, she tries the trip for the first time here. She does show good pace, so I don't think that it would be a problem. And Warren is aboard, so he knows her really well, and he should give her a good ride. And then you could include the last start winner, Mindset, who gets the 4 kgs off her back, only carrying 57, drawn in gate 3. And she could repeat that effort going from start to finish here.
Just remind me, because I think I'm having a brain fart here. What is young Vinica's first name?
Rachel.
That is Rachel. That's what I thought. I mean, punters are going to be confused if you start shouting, "Go Rachel, go Rachel," because you won't know if you're back shouting Rachel or Rachel. You might be shouting the horse Rachel or the rider Rachel. So interesting. I mentioned Noemi as my first choice. What I didn't mention, I didn't go that far, is to say my second choice is Kylie's Fate. So you and I are certainly in the agreement there. And what I will do tomorrow morning, it's a bit late now, but tomorrow morning I'll contact soccershop.bet and see if we can get a price boost on number 2, Kylie's Fate, both each ways, because we both clearly like number 2, Kylie's Fate, and we'll be shouting, "Go Rachel," and hope that Rachel doesn't win it, the horse Rachel.
Yeah, we definitely hope so. And I think that Kylie's Fate could be the one for us in this race here. Nice value there at 11-1.
Yeah, I agree with you. We're going to get a bit more value from soccershop.bet. Right, let's move on to the last. Sure, wide open contest. Money I see for the actual horse that I do like, which is number 7, Naval Secret. But lots of money for lots of things here. So, Rahiel, over to you. What are you going to do in the last leg of the PA?
Bro, this is the hardest race on the card for me. It's such a tricky race. Quite a few with chances here, but I'm going to go for the 5 horse here, Bedazzled Joker as my slight first choice here. Last time out, he ran fourth behind Brass Palin. He showed a return to form, and in that fourth, the first 3 horses that finished ahead of him, they all raced clear of the field, and they did finish first, second, and third, and he was left to do the chasing. Running 2.5 lengths behind Brass Bell. So I think with that run under the belt, return to form, and I think that he could go well in this race here. If you look at his course and distance form, from his 15 runs, he's finished 12 times in the top 4, 2 wins, 3 seconds, 3 thirds, and 4 fourths. So he certainly does enjoy the course and distance. The 1200 is much his preferred trip, and I think that he's going to give a good account of himself tomorrow. Jason Gates gets back aboard him. He has ridden him before. He rode him. He's ridden him 6 times. He's won on him once and run fourth on him. So he would know the horse, and I'm expecting him to give a bold showing. Then you can include the 3 horse Canadian Bolt. He's run 2 seconds over the course and distance. Drawn in gate 3, Sereno Moodley rides this time. He's only try on the horse. He ran second. So now drawn in gate 3, I think that Canadian Bolt should be there at the finish. The one horse, Life Goes On, now finally cracks a draw after being drawn 9, 12, and 11. Keegan DeMello sticks with the ride, 55 on his back. And I think that he can also be there at the finish. And then the 10 horse, Sovar. If you have a look at this horse, now this horse was once a 99. He's now a 72, so he's dropped 27 points in the merit rating. And if there's a hot pace in this race here, he could be the one finishing extremely well, and he could possibly mow them down at the end. The draw doesn't concern me, as Warren Kennedy is likely going to drop him out. And I think that he should be there, especially as I mentioned, if there's a good pace in this race here. But you can certainly include others, like the favorite Naval Secret, the 4 horse Purple and Green. Even the 9 horse Transonic does have a chance in this lineup with 61 on his back from a draw of gate 9. It's a tricky race, but I think if you like a horse, you should go for it.
Yeah, it's interesting that Life Goes On has drifted like that, because he was actually my joint second choice, number 1, Life Goes On. But he opened up 7-1 and gone to 13-1. I don't know why, but I'll have to ignore that. I'm also going to go a bit wider in the PA. As I say, number 7, Naval Secret, is my first choice because of he's got a big reputation. He had a reputation, and of course, he's got a marvelous pedigree. That Secret of Victoria family is pretty good. And Tapskamedi we've touched on before, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a result here as well. And I think you've got to go fairly wide to ensure that you do come through the PA, and hopefully that's the case. Of course, we mentioned again, we are recording this on Sunday, so Monday morning might bring changes and scratchings and all sorts of things. What did you make of, you didn't mention Purple and Green, and neither did I, but I see it's been back from 10-1 to 5-1.
Maiden winner, and he runs after a rest, so it's a tricky race to run after rest, and he has to carry 60.5 on his back. He has to give a bit of weight to other horses in this lineup here. Even you could shout to Philly Spiel, Rachel Vinica aboard for Michael Roberts, only 52.5 on his back. He does drop in trip to the 1200. There's another that could be there and thereabouts.
Okay, maybe if time allows tomorrow morning, I'll phone Graham Hawkins. I see he's got a share in Purple and Green with Trevor Faree and Gavin Almanza and boys. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, another trappy race. Well, we all know these Greyville poly meetings can turn up some real shocking results, but hopefully it will behave. And we're going to be shouting, "Go Rachel," in the one race, because that's going to be our value play, which is Kylie's Fate, which I think is race 7, right? Race 7, number 2, Kylie's Fate. Right. Thanks very much, Rahiel, good luck tomorrow. Greyville Poly, it's not easy, and it doesn't get, it's big fields as well, competitive big fields, but that also can translate into some big dividends.
Yes, certainly. And I think that if you structure your bets well, you could be in for some nice payouts. PA is sure to pay well tomorrow, I think. So that's probably the bet to go for.
Rahiel, thanks very much. I'll let you prepare with about half an hour to kick off for the Euros. And give us a score. What do you think?
I say they're going to go to extra time and Italy will win, probably 1-0.
1-0 to Italy. Okay, after extra time. Hopefully it doesn't go to extra time. Some of us need our sleep. But thanks very much as always, and have a good day punting tomorrow.
You too. Take care.